somebody made a request that I talk more about my trip. The idea that I have right now, and really it's just, I just want to get out there and go, so it could change as I go real easily. Nothing's for sure, but I'm here in Bend, Oregon right now, and I want to drive to Florida. I'm still working on the route. It's going to be a long road trip. I won't drive more than 100 miles a day at the most. So there'll be a lot of locations along the way where I'll stop and stay a night or two. Mainly outdoor places, camping places. I'll try to avoid the big cities except for maybe one night to if I need to buy anything, or if I feel like stopping in a city. And I like cities too, so I'm sure there'll be some nights in the cities, but for the most part I don't want to be sleeping in my car in downtown Dallas. So the route I have worked out right now takes me down to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have family there, so I could stop and say hi to family. And then from Albuquerque over to Florida. So I know I've started to map out the Oregon to Albuquerque, New Mexico route, and it kind of takes me across the eastern part of Oregon and then down through Idaho, through Des Moines, and then from there I go across the Four Corners. No, I'm sorry, I go down into Utah, past Salt Lake City. So just kind of straight down Utah to the Four Corners, and then enter into New Mexico. I haven't really decided whether or not I want to. Once I get to that point, maybe I'll do a little bit of Colorado and then northern New Mexico, or head straight for New Mexico. And a lot of it just depends on how the Jeep's doing. It's not the type of car you're supposed to take across country, but I'm gonna make it work. If it breaks down along the way, that's part of the deal. I'll have to stop and get it fixed. I don't have a bunch of money saved up for this trip, so I get a monthly check of $1,200, part of my disability check, and I will be using that to travel across the country. So you can figure that's my budget, and hopefully not anywhere close to $1,200 a month will be spent, because I need to be saving for a sailboat. I need a few $1,000s by the time I get down to Florida. Hopefully $2,000 or $3,000 to purchase a sailboat with. So a lot of that money will have to go into saving. So my finances will be very limited on the road. It'll be gas and food, and my entertainment will be what I see and what I run into. I'm not going to be spending a lot of money on things other than gas and food. And then once I get to Florida, hopefully I'm thinking Florida, if I leave here in September, somehow work out the trip so that I arrive in Florida by the beginning of next year, sometime around January of January of 2010. That gives me enough time on the road to save up some money for a sailboat, assuming the road isn't too expensive. So hopefully I can get right onto a sailboat once I get to Florida. If I don't have enough money saved up for a sailboat, then I'll have to think of a different plan. But eventually I want to be on a sailboat in Florida, fix it up, make it seaworthy, make it comfortable for me to get around on. I had a 25-foot Coronado sailboat in San Diego that I lived on for half a year, and it was fun. I never really did much work to it, so it was always kind of a hassle crawling around on the thing. But I love to sail, and I love to travel, and it's a great way to travel, so I will be using a sailboat after Florida to get around. The trip could go anywhere. There's a lot of ifs. I don't have hardly any money to work with. Right now I have $0 in savings, so I'm hoping to save money as I go. with the $1,200 check. I told you, $1,200 a month, so that I have money to purchase a sailboat once I get down there. Move directly onto the sailboat. But you know, the Jeep isn't. It could get me there. It could have 4,000 miles good on it, or anything could happen to that car in the next 4,000 miles. So it's really going to be a one day at a time deal, which I'm fine with. This documenting it has really become interesting, and filming it, and putting it on camera. Laura's eating the tree. Should be filming that. More interesting than me sitting here. It's nice here in Bend, Oregon. I like this. I've been living here for 6 months. Moved up here from San Diego. I was in San Diego for 5 years. That's where I lived on the sailboat for half a year. I was down in San Diego studying architecture. Well, that's not originally why I moved down there. Originally, I moved down there for physical. There's a place called Project Walk, and they work with spinal cord injuries, doing rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation. And they've had some success stories. I tried a lot of stuff after I was paralyzed. I was paralyzed in a snowboarding accident back in December of 2000, almost 9 years ago now. And I was 18 at the time, and it was a bad injury. I dislocated my back. It was a complete dislocation, so your vertebrae are stacked on top of each other, and my vertebrae had dislocated, and one was sitting behind the other. So when the doctor took the x-ray, he couldn't find one of my vertebrae because it was back behind the other one. So they had to take my vertebrae and restack them. And they told me that, you know, when they saw the x-rays, that there was no chance of me walking again, that it would be complete paralysis from the waist down. But my family, the people that were around me, and myself the most, decided we were going to fight that. You know, doctors aren't always right. They were in my case, but I didn't believe it at the time. So I tried a lot of different therapies. About 5 years of my life were spent trying everything I could to walk again and get feeling back, get anything back, all the stuff that I had lost. And tried crazy surgery down in Mexico with shark stem cells. I tried Project Walk down in San Diego for 1.5 years of intense physical therapy. Did a lot of stuff on my own with electric muscle stimulators, and lots of time in the swimming pool working on things. And it was good that I tried, and I did everything I could to try and walk again, because now I sit here not regretting having not tried. But it also taught me, it was an interesting lesson, because I really believed I could make it happen. I really believed I could walk again. And I'm still here 10 years later in a wheelchair, 9 years later. And it was tough. It was tough when I finally said, this is it, I'm going to learn to deal with this situation. But now I'm here, and now I'm enjoying life again. It's not all good days. There's definitely rough days still, and every morning I wake up and the wheelchair's there, and it's my means of getting around. And but my options, I really don't see my options as being limited anymore. There's certain things about the injury that still bug me. Maybe I'll talk about those someday. I don't know. I don't know if I want to make it all public at this point, but yeah, that's kind of some of the backstory. People have been asking what the backstory is, and there you get it.